Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and we're doing an indie horror spotlight today. We have Eric Mathis. He is the director of the new and pre-production metal horror flick, The Inferno. Eric, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit about Inferno.
Yeah, so Infernal is like you said, it's a heavy metal monster movie. It's kind of Faustian, being that the main characters they accidentally sell their souls to the devil because they live in this town where, it's run down and they're kind of tired of their lives. So they use this heavy metal record, which is a crossover from the movie Deathgasm. We're going to bring in the record that released all the demons in that movie. So they get
Nice.
a hold of this fabled record and they summon the devil, and he, of course, tricks them, and they end up with their souls at risk. And ultimately, the devil gives them 24 hours to solve a riddle, pretty much to save their souls. So that's where the story takes off, and they're racing across town trying to beat the devil at his own game, pretty much.
Nice. And I actually had a pleasure early seeing the trailer now, and it looks amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, now, who designed the makeup and I guess the creatures' looks?
That would be Joe Castro. He's a legend. He's been around for a long time. Incredible talent. We're lucky to have him. Lucky to work with him. Joe Castro's he's been around for forever there in Hollywood. His talent is just through the roof, unbelievable. And that was just a taste. That's what we did for no money. When we
Oh,
turned this guy loose with a budget, he's unstoppable. So Joe's the real deal. Joe Castro, if you're looking for a guy, it gets no better than him.
looked absolutely amazing.
Thank you
And
so.
and right now you're in pre-production, so you're in the funding phase.
Yeah, we're actually at the time of this taping, Monday the 14th, we're going to be releasing our Indiegogo. So pretty much we'll have the pre-sale DVDs, Blu-rays. People can buy parts in the movie, credits, all the fun stuff. We'll pretty much run that crowdfunder for a few months, and then once we complete that, we'll be in production, shooting probably in January.
Okay. Now, have you picked a filming location for the movie already?
There's several ideas, but we kind of won't know that until we finish our funding.
Okay.
But in the past, we've rented out this really historic mansion here in Vegas. It was one of Liberace's secret mansions. So Michael Jackson used to have parties there. Elvis used to have parties there. We were very fortunate because right after we filmed it, it got sold and torn down. So nobody will ever film there again. We were the last movie to ever film there. Casino, the famous movie Casino, was filmed there. So a lot of cool stuff. We've rented out historic bars. We rented out one of the oldest bars in the country. They filmed like Miss Congeniality there, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So we usually get some really awesome spots, but we haven't selected just yet where we're going to bring this to. But it'll definitely be along those lines, and we get really awesome sets.
Awesome. And by this being a heavy metal horror movie, are we going to have any famous heavy metal musicians make appearances?
Definitely, and that's kind of where we're working now. We are lucky enough to know some, like in my last movie, one of our good friends, Jeremy Spencer from Five Finger Death Punch, Semi Rotted. He was the drummer of the year for many, many years. He was on board. We've got Dietrich Thrall. He plays in many awesome bands, the biggest probably being Lords of Acid. We're really reaching out and trying to bring in a lot of really awesome heavy metal talent for sure. Still to
Definitely.
be announced, but yes, that's definitely in our plans.
Definitely. I can imagine if you're a heavy metal fan, this is going to have an amazing soundtrack as well.
Oh, definitely. That's going to be a huge part of it. I'm an old school horror fan. I was a video store kid, and the older movies they incorporated that soundtrack, which to me was almost as important as the pictures you were seeing. So that's definitely something we're going to be hitting hard. We want an amazing soundtrack so that we can release the soundtrack as well. But music will be a huge part of this.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, Eric, this is your second movie.
It
um,
is.
you're making. What inspired you to get into the filmmaking industry, especially horror?
Yeah, it's something I've always loved. I watched horror movies when I was way too young. Just kind of cut my teeth on them. I would go to the video stores on weekends and just fill my arms up with them and go home and watch them. Um, I loved the effects and I loved the monsters and I loved the sounds. It just intrigued me from the moment that I was able to press play on a tape player. And from there, I would my parents would buy me, little home cameras, and I would make my own effects and props, and my cousins and stuff would come over, and I would make them act. And so I've been making movies probably since I was 7 years old, and
Wow,
it's just something I've always loved. And then when I got older, I was in the military, and then when I got out, I was in Vegas, and these opportunities kind of came up for me to get back in around film. I worked in the news, and I worked in radio prior, but when I finally got to Vegas, I got back into doing music videos and things, and I actually ended up working for the Jackson family, like Michael Jackson's family. Um,
really?
yeah, so I got to do a music video with um, all the more of the living relatives for and one of his cousins. The name leaves me right now, but we did his video, so I got to meet all of them, and just the music royalty that was there was outstanding, and that really gave me I guess it really gave me my reputation, which led into movies. And I started working around town and ended up working with Full Moon Features, who did like Puppet Masters and
Love Full Moon.
Full Moon. Yeah, so got tied up with those guys and did a couple movies with them, and that's where I met my director of photography, Howard Wexler, who I still work with today. Made a lot of friends there, and just kind of scooted right into the industry, man. And definitely, Full Moon was a huge launcher of that.
Awesome. Now, for you, what would you say is the biggest challenge being a filmmaker? Is it the funding or is it the whole distribution process?
I think both of those, funding and distribution, are definitely tricky in themselves, but getting there at all. When you first start coming around and you first start trying to make a movie, it's really hard to get people behind you because everybody says they're going to make a movie, right? And then everybody says they're going to make a good movie, and there's a lot of uh, there's a lot of competition out there and people doing things that kind of turn people off from wanting to help independent filmmakers. So you kind of have to prove that you're not one of them. So um, I guess getting to a point where you can actually raise enough money to start your first feature is a really hard one. And then the distribution is a whole nother animal. It's for indie guys, it's definitely challenging. We received international distribution for my first movie, which is it's cool to get that for our first one. But it was definitely we learned a lot, and we're gonna be doing things a lot different. So that's definitely something that you really want to know a lot about when you're getting into it.
And you actually brought something up, and you've seen it too. Of course, I've seen it. Everybody's making a horror movie now. Everybody is making a horror movie. Everyone's asking for crowdfunding. But like, how do you, if you're somebody from the outside, how do you know who's serious and who's not? You know,
I usually look at the campaign itself. A lot of people they'll do a talking heads video, and and some of these guys are amazing, and all they do is talk about their video and about their project and show um, pre-made videos and things like that. Like you can get like stock footage and those kinds of things. But what we do to try to show that we're serious and show what we're capable of, I've always been insistent that we're going to shoot trailers like the one that I sent you. So I kind of put my money where my mouth is, and we invest up front. I've got a partner named Drake Tier who's amazing, and he'll put up the initial funding, and we'll shoot these actual trailers to show that we're not just talk. Here's what we're actually going to do on a grander scale when we have the money. So I think the way that we stood out was we brought our game and we produced a short before we ever did anything else. So we showed what we can do instead of just said it.
and like you were saying, if you actually had a budget, imagine you've had a budget. I've seen a trailer. I don't know when it's going to release, but it looks absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
Actually look amazing, and it looks like an interesting. I'm not a heavy metal guy, but I'm a horror guy, so like
Definitely.
it's pretty cool.
And you're not, and that's another cool thing. Like you're not going to necessarily have to love heavy metal to like the
Hmm.
movie. It's definitely just it's an element. So I think it's going to be a little bit of something for everybody, but it's absolutely at its core 1000%. It's a straight horror movie. So it's
Yeah,
the heavy metal is almost like another character in the film. So
but
very
like you
excited.
were saying, heavy metal and horror do go hand in hand. So
They
they've
do.
been going hand in hand since the '80s.
Yes, they
So
have.
yeah, so
Definitely.
awesome. Now, you're looking to shoot in January.
Yeah, January is our plan for now. That's what we're shooting for. We've got one of the main stars from a TV show called Naked and Afraid. I don't know if you watch the show or not, but it's a reality show that we enjoy. And we've got one of the cast members from that coming on because my wife and I really enjoyed him on the show. And we're like, what if we had Jeff on the show? So let's reach out and see if we can get him. But long story short, he's going to be going, I think, to climb Mount Everest or whatever amazing things he's always doing, like shortly after that. So we're aiming for January to be able to keep his involvement. So um,
Awesome.
I'm thinking we're probably going to nail January down.
So January, so you'll be releasing what, but in the spring or summer?
Yeah, I think with the post production house that we're using, Danny Draven is world famous for his quality and for his speed and efficiency. So I have every confidence that he'll probably have the movie edited within a month or two of us delivering it to him. So
Oh
um,
wow. Okay.
I think a summer release is very feasible.
Okay. Now, are you looking towards streaming or DVD, both, or
Yeah, we usually do both. I'm still on the fence on how we're gonna exactly handle our distribution this time. We've already got worldwide distribution offers hanging, like people are already wanting us, from because the first film did so well. Um, but that's something that we're gonna evaluate and kind of see if we want to. Do we maybe want to do the self distribution? Do we want to go with another distribution company? So I think we've got enough skin in the game this time, enough knowledge and enough um, clout to kind of direct our distribution deal this time. So we're gonna explore that up until the end and see who gives us the best deal. But all of the above, regardless, we'll do physical, we'll do streaming. With this one, I think we've got a strong enough project and strong enough team. We're aiming for a theatrical release. So
awesome?
yeah, with what Terrifier just did for indie horror,
Yeah.
blew the doors wide open. So we're gonna ride that and try to continue getting indie horror, quality indie horror into theaters.
Okay. Now, here's a question I ask a lot of indie horror filmmakers, and a lot of them say no, which I'm like, that's interesting. So I don't know if you watch my channel. I go to a lot of horror conventions,
Right.
and the story with me was back in 2016, 17, right? I was going to a lot of horror conventions, and I just keep seeing Terrifier, Terrifier, Terrifier. I had no idea what the hell Terrifier was. I never saw it, and it was a good 2 or 3 years of me keep seeing Terrifier. The cast of Terrifiers will be at the convention, and boom, 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 boom. I finally watched the movie. I was like, oh, that's who Terrifier is. But so they even today they're at every horror convention, even with the success of Terrifier 2. You can go to any horror convention in this country, and the cast and Damien Leone is going to be there. So, horror conventions, is that something that you're planning on doing?
Yeah, we would love to. I've kind of got a full time thing outside of film here. I've got a family. Um, it's something that's definitely been on our radar, and I think that we're really going to do a lot more of going forward. Um, we did the macabre and stuff kind of coming out of COVID, and a lot of things were wishy washy and up in the air, and we didn't really know who was going to be back and what conventions were going to kind of be around. But it's definitely an avenue that we have our eye on this time. So we definitely want to try to get involved in the circuit.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it
Awesome.
is huge to go out and meet the fans and supporters and people that just want to learn about your work.
Exactly.
Face is everything.
It is. So how, okay, Eric, so how can everyone find you? How, if they want to support to your crowdfunding, how can they do that?
Yeah, so my primary where I post most of my movies things and like videos and pictures and things. My Instagram is kind of my dumping ground for pretty much all I put on there is movie stuff. You can find me there at Grimehouse Films, GrimeHousefilms. So Grimehouse Films at Instagram. And then if you want to join the campaign, if you go to Indiegogo, the movie spelled Infernal, Infernal. It'll be launched as of Monday, 8/14. And we would love to have anybody who's interested in checking it out come by and just watch the trailer. I mean, I think that the trailer itself will speak to our capabilities and our seriousness. And yeah, man, it's we would love to have anybody who would want to swing by and support a really awesome monster movie. I mean, what we do things that are pretty next level for indie films. So if you've gone to Indiegogo type films before and maybe it really wasn't your thing, come check us out because the team that we're fortunate enough to have, we should never have as indie people. I mean, my director of photography, Howard Wexler, is one of the best in the game. He's been in Hollywood for decades doing some major movies. Our effects guy is second to none. So come check out our team, check out what we got going, and hopefully get involved with the project.
And if you don't believe us, check out the trailer. The trailer is absolutely amazing. Yes,
Thank
check
you
out
so
that
much.
trailer. Well, Eric, I appreciate you coming on, man. I would love to have you on back on next year when the movie's about to be released.
Definitely. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. Yeah, I'd love to come back.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'm gonna check it with you guys next time. Have a good one.